guys, so it's me, Nicolette Mashila, and today I'm in conversation with IG South Africa. And in the hot seat, I've got Sean Murison, who is the Senior Market Analyst at IG South Africa. Now, this is what they do. They help you as their client to be able to trade financial markets on leverage. But what does that actually really mean? And how do you actually maneuver around that? So please do stay with us as I have this conversation, and perhaps maybe you and your question could be answered today right here on this video. All right, Sean, so I'm not even going to do the welcomes because I feel like you're already welcomed. You're looking very comfortable in that seat. I think let's get straight into it. Let's talk a little bit about what it is that IG South Africa actually does.
IG South Africa is part of the IG Group. IG Group is a publicly listed company on the London Stock Exchange. We offer world-leading technology to access different types of financial markets, like the forex market, index trading, commodities, and shares, all using leverage. And you can access these markets directly from your phone, your desktop, or your laptop.
We've seen a rise in South Africa of these new fintech companies, creating platforms where people can do investing in equities and all that stuff. But there still seems to be a little bit of reluctance. Do you guys experience that as IG? And could you maybe tell us why you think that there is that little bit of reluctance that happens?
What we find at IG is that there is a definite interest in financial markets and in trading in that. But I suppose the reluctance would be sort of getting over the finish line, actually getting to that point of trading, opening an account. I think there's a lack of education within the market, and we do our best to try help with that education. We run a series of seminars and webinars, which all can be accessed from the IG website. And we also have something called the IG Academy, which is an app you can download to your phone or you can access it from your desktop. It's really just a series of questions about different types of financial markets so that you can understand them a little bit better before you start trading them. And at the end of each of those sections, you'll have a nice little series of multiple choice questions so you can see how competent you are within those different types of categories, whether it be forex or commodities or indices or even shares.
Maybe let's go back to leverage. Maybe leverage is where we're throwing maybe myself and a whole lot of other people over. What is leverage? When we speak about leverage, could you possibly give me a leverage example with everyday things that we buy, a car, how would you,
leverage is essentially a way that you'd magnify your profits or losses within the financial market. You could use buying a house as a comparison. If you wanted to buy a house, let's say R1 million house, you wouldn't have to outlay that full R1 million. You would be required to put down a deposit, or what we in the financial market call a margin. So if you wanted to buy shares, for example, let's say you want to buy 10,000 rands worth of shares in the CFD market, you don't have to outlay the full 10,000 rand for that position. You just need to put down a 5 to 10% deposit for that position. So 500 rand to 1,000 rand to generate profits or losses from a 10,000 rand position.
So Sean, I understand the example with the house. At the end of me paying off my house, I get my house. How do I make money now from CFD? Because you said it's not necessarily an investment, it's more trading, right?
Okay, so let's look at the house example.
Okay.
Right, let's say this CFD or this trading was the example of a house.
Yes.
You buy the house, let's say you buy a house for R1 million,
yes,
but you put a deposit down of 100,000.
Yes.
The value of your house goes to 1.2 million and you sell your house. You've made 200,000, but you've only outlaid your deposit,
which is the 100,000.
Correct.
So I don't essentially I don't essentially buy the asset at its full price. So I'm essentially saying if a house is, as you said, and I just want to repeat this so that everybody gets it, right? If the house is R1 million, I need to then put out a capital outlay of maybe 100,000 rand. But the price of the house could potentially, or the value of the house could potentially go up. So if I then sell the house at 1.5, I make my profit from the difference of whatever it is. Oh, come on, man.
Well, that's exactly the name contract. CFD stands for contract for difference. And it's very, very simply put, the difference between the price that you buy and the price that you sell.
Okay, but now this gives me that feeling of high risk, high return, right?
Okay.
And the moment you move into that direction, we're now dealing with an issue of do people know enough to be able to do that? Can I outsmart the market? Can I trust your guys' platform to be able to do all this? Will I get my money back?
Sure. Trust is very, very important, especially when you're choosing a broker. I think the most important consideration is whether that company is licensed to render a financial service within the jurisdictions in which they operate. Whether you're choosing IG as a broker or another broker, make sure they are correctly licensed. IG, of course, is correctly licensed. In terms of trust, client funds are held in a segregated account. So if anything was to happen to IG, that money is held separately with a major bank. But, IG has been around for 45 years. We are the world leading provider. We've got over 190,000 traders worldwide that believe in us and our product.
If I trade in a contract today and I'm leveraging off a certain financial market today, going back to the house example, and something happens to you guys, strike, I mean, we've seen strikes in this country, something happens, that contract is still in effect.
I think, yeah. So when you have an account with IG, your funds are held in a segregated account with a bank, so it is secured in that bank.
Okay, yes. Perfect. That sounds good. I think that gives that comfort also to know that if ever there's a mismanagement of a company or something, that is not, it's not something that will have a very huge impact on me specifically. But let's speak a little bit about now the knowledge, because as I said, it sounds like a high return type of invest. Is it even an investment?
Trading can form part of an investment portfolio. You can actually use CFDs in there to try protect, or almost like an insurance, we call hedging, of maybe a share investment. In terms of knowledge, there's lots of facilities to help people grow their knowledge available at the IG website. We run frequent seminars to help you understand different types of strategies when trading the market. There's a whole host of webinars where just give you color on the market, help you understand, what's happening in financial markets right now, and possible trading opportunities that may exist through that. And we also have a great feature where you can open up a demo account and test drive the system. So you'll have live prices, you'll be watching live markets, forex markets, indices, commodities, and things like that, and you can trade them. The only thing that's real, that's not real, is the profits or losses. But the market prices are real, and you'll get a real good sense of what trading is all about. Okay,
you've actually just said something very interesting, because I see it a lot with people who basically live on their trading platform when they're trading equities, and they are literally every day they are checking, which goes against the principles of investing. Sometimes they say don't use your emotions when it comes to investing, right? Yeah. Now, the alternative then sounds to me would then rather be trading stocks as CFDs, right?
Yeah, so it depends on your time horizon,
yes,
and your risk threshold, because obviously you're magnifying your profits or losses.
Yes.
So generally your cost of getting in and out is lower.
Yes.
To do that, your positions are magnified.
Yes.
But if you hold it for a very long term, there is interest that you would pay on those positions. So if you're holding it for a year or 2 years, that wouldn't be ideal.
Yeah. Okay, that's very interesting. So where do I get the knowledge from?
So I think the best way to acquire the knowledge in the markets is to actually partake in the markets. So we mentioned earlier on the demo account where you can actually, do mock trading or paper trading in the financial markets. You can grow that knowledge also through seminars, webinars, and the things we've just addressed. IG also has something called the IG Academy, and you can access that academy from your desktop or from your mobile device, a standalone app, separate from the trading app. And it really just teaches you about the different types of financial markets and tradings, from beginner through to advanced, and really is a useful feature if you are serious about getting involved.
I've actually had something click in my head right now as you're explaining that. CFDs are not necessarily a specific product, right? They are almost like a structure of the different financial markets. So it's almost a way of trading different financial markets.
That is very well put. So it is a CFD could be modeled on anything, could be on houses.
Okay.
So CFD is just a generic term. It's a contract for difference.
Yes.
What is the asset class? It depends on, it could be Forex, it could be commodities, could be indices, could be anything.
Hey guys, so it's been quite an interesting conversation with IG South Africa. I mean, Sean has imparted so much knowledge, especially around the trust issues that we've got with trading in South Africa. I mean, we know the culture of trading has been very flashy in South Africa. It's been about the big bucks, about, making and driving flashy cars. But truly and honestly, it is part of your investing strategy where you actually just put into leveraged markets. And for me, that was quite interesting. But also the touch points of ensuring that you are trading with a trusted brand is really important. The one that really stood out, which is always an issue, is first and foremost, they are a licensed company. But secondly, they do have an address. They've got brick and mortar. So if anything is to go wrong or anything goes really, really well and you want to get your money, you know where to be able to find them. That for me was really, really a standout. But remember, guys, that none of what we have said in this video constitute as financial advice. If you are looking for financial advice, please speak to somebody who is certified and registered with the FSCA to give financial advice. But let me tell you one thing, you do not want to go anywhere. So do stay tuned in for part 2 of our series, because it's going to rock your world. We are going to be talking about what can you caution yourself against, but also how do you make sure that that degree of wrongness that you might potentially have in your strategy, you can actually succumb that with stop losses. So it's going to be quite interesting. So do stay tuned in for part 2.